Hey everybody, Zach here at etrailer.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at a light from Optronics. This is going to be an RV porch light for campers or RVs, but you can also put this on enclosed trailers to act as a utility light. It's going to be a really good option if you're looking for an amber incandescent light. Also works out well for a lot of replacements with RVs and campers. Now this one doesn't have a switch built into the outside on the housing. We have ours tied into a light switch on the inside, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But with this light, it's going to do a really good job. It's got a nice clean look to it, kind of a modern look with that oval design. So it's going to make, well, if you're looking to replace a light that maybe is damaged, or if you're just looking to kind of add a more modern look to your trailer. There is an identical light just with the white housing that's available. Now when it comes to incandescent and LED, this one's going to be warm to touch. So I've had this on for a couple minutes and it's already a little too hot to touch it. But what I like about incandescent lights is if the bulb burns out, I can replace it pretty easily. I just take the cover off, put a new bulb in. Now, one thing to keep in mind is these will burn out much faster than LEDs. The LEDs are going to burn cleaner and they're going to last longer. It's not going to require as much power from your batteries or wherever you're drawing your power from. But to that, they're a little bit more expensive, and when you have to replace it, you have to replace the whole thing for the most part. With this one, if you have a spare bulb somewhere in the camper, you can easily just put that in place. So that's one benefit to that style. Most lights that come on campers are going to be in this similar size that we have here today. So the measurements on that are 6 1/4 by 3 7/16 by 1 7/8 inches in depth. Now I turned the lights off here in the shop to kind of give you a better idea as to how bright this is. I have a little bit of light coming in from next door, but you can see it does a pretty good job of lighting up the area outside of the entrance to our camper. I like the subtle look of the amber. Some people don't really like it as much. They prefer that white light. That option is also available if you're looking for something to be even more brighter, but for me, I don't need it to be overly aggressive with how bright it is, especially if I'm just hanging out outside on the patio, or if I just want something to kind of light up my steps like we have here today. So the incandescent light, a little bit more dull compared to the LED, but I think that this is a really good option, especially if you're looking to replace or just kind of add something new compared to an older style. The installation is pretty straightforward, so let's just walk you through how we put this one in place. Before we get started, I went ahead and I took off my old light, and I have a couple of my wires here exposed. I've already tested those out. I know that my black wire is power and my white wire is ground. So that works out great. I'm just gonna match it up with the back of these, and then we're gonna connect these with just standard butt connectors, since it's going to be in our wall there, but you can also use heat shrink butt connectors as well. We have both those available. Get that slid all the way on, get that crimped down. There we go, we've got a good connection there. Now I can start feeding these back through. We're gonna get this lined up to get our holes put in place. You can see we've tested out some other lights on this camper here before. We might actually have some luck where we don't have to drill those out all the way. Got a decent amount of extra wire here, so we'll get that all tucked back in. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this outer housing and get that lined up. Now, hardware is not included with this. So if your old hardware off your old light is still in good condition, I would just reuse that like we're using here today. And then we can just get those put in place. And then we can get our lens cap put in place. Now that I have power hooked back up, we can flip our switch there, and you can see we have a functioning light. Overall, this isn't too bad of an installation. I still have a little bit to clean up here from our old light, put a little bit of sealant around that, but overall not too bad of an installation. We've got a nice new working light here, but that's going to do it for a look at the Optronics RV porch light and utility light.